you know, great to be down here. Look forward to watching our guys play. And, it's nice to come into the tournament with a little momentum. And we played well last weekend. And happy for our guys turning things around. A good feeling in our program right now. And that's the best way you want to come into a tournament like this, where you have to go deep in this thing. So I think we're in good position mentally to do it. Now we got to go out and perform and execute and play at a high level. So, but looking forward to watching our guys compete.
Okay, we'll go and open up for questions. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Coach, what are you thinking about doing with your pitching rotation?
Well, Jordan Wicks will throw tomorrow. And then, really, Tim, it's a matchup thing depending on our opponent. To make your decision day by day. And, we got to feel for these guys at this point of the year and what works against what lineup. So it starts with Wicks, and then, you really take it day to day according to your opponent.
How important was that with the way you guys finished out that series with TCU? And that it has to be a giant mental boost to rally in the bottom half of the final inning.
After the Kansas weekend, obviously we were down, and one of the things I talked to our team about was, we got to be tougher, and here's why we're not tough. And this has nothing to do with physicality or questioning anyone, but it's just, as a team, if you don't win on the road, it's not a sign of toughness. And we didn't do a good job with that. We didn't do a good job playing from behind. And then we couldn't damage control innings that spiraled out of control. So those are all signs of a team that's not very tough. And this is how I talked to him point blank. I said, I can't do anything about it when it comes to toughness. So to see those guys answer all those, accusations I threw at them in the course of a weekend was awesome. Other than playing on the road, we played from behind. We played well with a lead. We won late. We answered a 4-run first inning with 4 ourselves. Great stuff, and stuff that we were deficient in over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So it's awesome to do that, especially going into the biggest stretch of our season where we have to play good.
Thanks, Coach.
Go ahead, Cole.
Yeah, hey, Coach, I was just wondering if you could give an update on Chris Ceballos' injury.
Cole, you always ask those medical questions. I get lawsuits and fines thrown my way. Hey, he's really sore. Kind of jolted that area. The kneecap came out of place and popped it back in. So everything is on fire down there, and the swelling. But I will say every day he gets better. Yesterday, there wasn't a chance we thought that he could play for us this week. Today, he actually swung the bat about 8 to 10 times in our practice session. So that was a huge jump in his progress. And hopefully he keeps making those jumps, and we can put him in that DH spot. It's not like he's going to beat out any double plays before or after the injury. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We need his bat. He's feeling pretty good right now offensively. So pretty sore.
And then just what do you guys need to do to really make it to a regional? Because I know you've talked about that multiple times, kind of having to get hot down the stretch. But what do you guys need to do this week?
Well, we're not even in the bubble conversation, with all the experts out there. We're not even in the bubble conversation. They're talking about Oklahoma being in the bubble. I mean, one game over 500, and everybody wants to talk about the bad weekends we have, but we're the only team in the Big 12 that's beaten Texas Tech and TCU in a series this year, and literally one game away from being, a 6 or 5 or 6 seed. So we got to get a little street cred, which we don't have, because that's just the nature of it at Kansas State in the short term. That'll change. I think we need to win 3 games and You know, I honestly, if they're gonna take the 5 best teams or the 6 best teams from the number 2 rated RPI conference in the country, I don't think we have to get to the championship game. But who knows? You know, you can talk about RPI all you want, but this is the year you throw RPI out the window. You know, we got the Big Ten's not even playing non-conference schedule. Look at our schedule. Our non-conference was so weak for a reason, because all our non-conference opponents in a region we couldn't play. Right, we couldn't play Nebraska. Wichita State couldn't play conference games after April 1. We lost a game there. We lost 2 with Nebraska, lost 2 with Creighton, lost 2 with Omaha. There it is right there. So what do? Do you sit idle and not play? That's not good for the developing team. Or do you play some opponents that are available that need guarantee money that hurt your RPI? So take the RPI out of the equation. I'm fighting for my program, but they're all legitimate points. But to answer your question, 3 games, I would hope that we're in some serious conversations. If we get into the championship game, I would hope we wouldn't have to win it to get the automatic qualifier, because our team's good enough to be considered in that than some other teams that are being brought up in the conversations.
Then your first
So
games against
you just got me going, Cole.
I love it when you get coach. It's perfect. You guys got TCU. Just how much confidence do the guys have going against a team that they know they can beat? Like, they obviously took 2 out of 3 this weekend.
Yeah, they got a lot of confidence that they played well, you know, and they played well from behind, and they won the big game and got the big hit. You know, I thought we played consistent, with the exception of a couple plays the entire weekend. And you know, our guys do know that if we play clean baseball and damage control some innings and not walk people, throw strikes, and play with energy, we can beat anyone in the country. We've already done it, you know. So we just got to be consistent. I think they feel really good about it, but they understand the task at hand, and it's one game at a time. And you wake up tomorrow and see where you're at. But we got to take care of game 1 and you know, survive and advance for the next 5 days here.
My last question: the Big 12, all Big 12 teams came out. Do you have any comment on the guys that made it and maybe some of the guys that didn't?
Dude, you're gonna get me in trouble. Every single question. How about this? Just really happy for our guys. And you know, when you have conference voting, all conference voting, you go back and forth on numbers, but it gives you a chance to realize what other programs think of your players. So happy for the guys that were recognized. Eric Torres is a pretty good non-conference, non-all conference pitcher for me. I'll take him any day of the week.
Thanks, Coach.
That's all you're getting from me, Cole.
All right, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, Coach, Jordan Wicks was so impressive against TCU this past week. Just how much confidence do you have with him going into tomorrow? And does he need to make any changes with such a quick turnaround against the same opponent?
He's breaking down the film right now with Coach Taylor of his outing. So, you know, TCU will probably look at how we game plan them and adjust accordingly. But at the end of the day, it's stuff that wins. It's stuff that's located that wins no matter what. And, you know, that's all he needs to do. And that's all he needs to worry about. I do like the matchup. I know he's an exceptional talent, but TCU has struggled of late versus left-handed pitching. And yeah, so, yeah, you know, Jordan's got a lot of confidence because he's a competitive kid. Really doesn't really matter the opponent, but we'll break down that film right now and see how we game plan them and try to give our best guesstimate on what they're going to do with us.
You talked a little bit about Torres a little bit ago, but your bullpen, for the most part, did a great job against TCU this past weekend. How encouraged were you by Carson Seymour and some of those other guys heading into this tournament?
Yeah, I was. First of all, Torres gets better every time we throw him out there. His stuff is electric right now, and Ekberg has been so dependable. But you're right, the biggest positive for the weekend out of our pitching staff came for me was Carson Seymour. Just a different mentality coming out of the bullpen. just more of a cut it loose mentality. He doesn't have to conserve energy. And when he does that, his stuff's much better. And it was down. It had a ton of movement, which we didn't see when he started. He had some velocity, but the movement wasn't there. And he was really impressive. And he beat him with a really, really good fastball during his outing. So it's nice to have him back and feeling, being in a good state of mind and feeling positive, feeling good about himself. That's 90% of it. He's in a good place right now after that outing.